Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, Ahad, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut 2. And hopefully you like this video and hit that subscribe button. So I am so excited because there's so much stuff to talk about, particularly with WFAN. I'm chomping at the bit. I already did a video for the Baseball Hut 3. I'll put the link into the description of this video, not only for the channel, but for the video, talking about all the big news that happened at the fan today, and how Craig Carton has come back, and he's basically stabbed 4 people in the back to get his job back in the afternoon drive. Also, I'm going to do a video, which I haven't done yet, on football legend, Giants legend, Carl Banks. He's went after one of the young Giant players, Abdul Carter. I have that for the Football Hut. I'll put the link in here for that. But this is the Baseball Hut 2. We talk about Mets stuff and baseball stuff, really, and the media here, just baseball media. And because it does so well. All those videos do really well. One of the great Mets of all time is Keith Hernandez. We all love Keith. He should be a Hall of Famer. Why he's not is disgusting. And he's a great broadcaster. But he did an appearance at WFAN last week on Thanksgiving with his friend. Didn't know he was friends with him, Richard Neer, one of the most boring guys on the radio ever. And Keith was on the radio with him for 2 hours. I guess Neer is like his neighbor now. I think that Neer probably helped him move. I guess part of the thing was to do a show with him to pay back. This is like a Seinfeld sketch. And then Keith went on. I guess it was pretty pleasant, but he did kind of complain that he doesn't get a chance to sit in. Well, let's get into the video. So this is from Off Announcing. They do such a great job with some of the stuff they put out there. I mean, it's a left-wing site, but they do a great job in terms of following all the stuff that happens with the broadcasts, all over the place, all over the country. It's terrific. I'll give them credit on that. Headline: Keith Hernandez claims Mets refuse to let him attend analytics meetings. Quote, "I wanted to go down and sit in a session, see what they do in preparation. It's never going to happen." End quote from Keith. Now, Keith, like I said, he was on the radio on Thursday. Having an all-time great defensive first baseman in your broadcast booth might seem like an asset, but the New York Mets have no interest in picking Keith Hernandez's brain. Hernandez spent 2 hours co-hosting WFN's morning show alongside Richard Neer on Thanksgiving Day last week. Predictably, Hernandez has been known analytics several times during the show. Well, that's Keith for you, claiming the trend in baseball is causing players to lose the ability to think for themselves. But that doesn't mean Hernandez is interested in learning more about why the Mets and other Major League Baseball teams are so reliant on analytics. Really, analytics, just the numbers of what the percentages of a guy hitting the ball this way and that way, and that's what it really is. Well, they won't let me down there, Hernandez said of the Mets analytics department. It's like the crown jewels down there. I wanted to go down and sit in a session and see what they do in preparations. It's never going to happen, end quote. Hernandez was also asked about some of Pete Alonso's defensive woes and whether the Mets or any players have ever asked him for tutelage, considering he was one of the best defensive players in MLB history. Well, he's the greatest first baseman of all time, defensively. But Hernandez made it clear the Mets have shown no interest in asking him for any help on the field. The last person to ask me to come help was when Todd Zeile moved to first base, Hernandez says. It was Bobby Valentine. Hernandez worked with Zeile as he transitioned to first base for the Mets during spring training more than a quarter century ago. And despite seemingly still having a good relationship with the organization, as a beloved TV analyst and member of the Mets Hall of Fame, the team doesn't seem interested in getting any additional help from Hernandez. Now, I would point out that Bobby Valentine was a coach on the 84 Mets and on the 85 Mets, and I think on the 83 Mets. And he played against Keith in the majors. So he knew Keith as a peer, and he knew Keith as a coach. So, back when, and he also had Keith work with John Olerud, the first baseman that's had before Zeile showed up. And that was really the knowledge that Keith imparted to Todd Zeile and John Olerud was enormous, because Zeile had never played first base until the Mets signed him, and they signed him as a first baseman, and he never played first, and Keith helped him adjust to that position. He also was very helpful with John Olu. But John Olu was a good first baseman anyway. But that really helped them, both of them, to become very good first basemen. Maziel was serviceable, I would mention. Hernandez clearly has a lot of knowledge as a hitter and especially as a defender, but it shouldn't seem too surprising to learn the Mets won't ask him to step out of the booth to assist in training or help a player, because doing so could be seen as undermining the coaches who are in place. As to why the Mets might refuse Hernandez the opportunity to learn more about analytics, that's a strange one. Are the Mets afraid Hernandez might bash analytics even more from the broadcast booth after sitting in on a meeting? Did Hernandez just knock on the door, ask to enter an analytics meeting, and get told, "Not now, Keith"? Who knows? That is a strange complaint. That is a strange complaint. But if his intentions are genuine and Hernandez has really seen requests to learn more about the Mets analytics department repeatedly ignored, that seems like a miss on their part. This isn't an announcer or first-year analyst trying to bust down the door of the analytics department. This is Keith Hernandez, who's been around the Mets for more than 4 decades. It remains to be seen whether Hernandez will have anything to say about analytics next season. He's in his contract with SNY recently expired. He's going to be back. He'll get a 3-year deal. He's going to be back. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. But I don't know why the Mets wouldn't want him part of the analytics. I mean, just have him sit and watch. For 10 minutes. All right, Keith, goodbye. Have Keith come in for a few minutes just to see what they're talking about. Or have them talk about it in spring training. I don't know. It's a strange one. I think we all know, if you followed the Mets for a long time, Keith was probably the smartest player the Mets ever had. Really, to be honest with you. He was probably the smartest player the Mets had, and he was certainly the smartest player in the '86 club. He was probably the best player the Mets had those years. Darryl Strawberry has repeatedly said that Keith was the best player he ever played with. And I think that's interesting because he played with guys like Derek Jeter and Bernie Williams and quite a few players. He played with Barry Bonds for a time. So, and he played with Mike Piazza. No, did he? No, he didn't play with Mike. I'm all right. A little before Mike. But he played with a lot of great players, and he said Keith was the best player to play with. That's why it's very annoying that Keith is not in the Hall of Fame, based on the fact that he won 2 championships, was the best player on 2 teams. The power wasn't there. That's the only thing Keith doesn't have. But Keith did everything right. If you need a home run, he hit it out. But it's a very strange story. But this is what happens when you go on WFN. A lot of weird shit happens. And like I said at the beginning of this video, there's so much happening at the radio station. I'll put the link in the description of this video about what happened with Craig Carton and him stabbing the back of all these other radio broadcasters. I'll put, if I have time, I'll put it on later, of the link that I have for the football hut. I haven't recorded, like I said. And of course, please watch this video, share this video, subscribe to this video, and I'll have more stuff on WFN and really on all kinds of stuff on the media. I enjoy talking about it, and it's a lot of fun, to be honest, because nobody else does it. So I'll be able to sort of analyze and talk about it and laugh about it. It's good. So thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to Baseball Hut too, and I'll see you later.